So I've put you in a really high position because my tripod won't go any lower down than that, which is not right. It's not right. Oh, right, I've got a little bit of time to get ready, so I thought I would do a little chit chat. I'm going to put on some of these new, this is so bizarre, all the face mask things that I bought back from Hong Kong, they all come in like, I mean, this looks like fruit, but they all come in like a wedge of something. So like, a bit like wipes, you know, like you get a packet of wipes and they're all squidged together. The face masks are like that. I just opened the eye masks and it's the same, which is weird and unexpected. And now I'm not entirely sure how to keep this from drying out. But here we are. Here we are. Oh, I got home about just under 24 hours ago. Hi, Caroline. And I'm going to work today, actually into the office. Which I'm not super looking forward to, but as I said to Lee yesterday, it's probably for the best because one of my like acclimatization days, like getting back to normal, is not being wasted on a day off. I'll, you know, power through, I'll be in the office. I'm not gonna be likely to fall asleep on the sofa because I can't do that because I'll be at work. Right, what do we think? How is this supposed to be resealed? I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to put this in a bag or something. It came in this, but I don't think this was resealable. I don't know. Apologies. I don't know if I just muted that temporarily. Could be terrible in 8 minutes. But I'm going to put this in my little skincare fridge and time will tell if it all just dries up and is wasted. I don't know. But it's definitely a weird one. I was expecting individually wrapped, definitely. Or at least resealable, because like the face mask ones are resealable. You can open and close that bag of, hi Tara, good morning. You can open and close that bag of masks. Oh my goodness. Holy moly. Right, now we're into the medication. We need Pro Plus and ibuprofen. Before I get started with anything else, by the end of this, I'm going to be so awake. Part of my infinite wisdom here was that I thought because I'm an extrovert, I'll be talking to you and that will give me energy. That sounds true, right? Morning, Lucy. That sounds true. I also have no idea when I'm going to get to editing the second vlog because I know myself and I was really glad that I did the first one while I was there because my motivation to do it was like, oh yeah, I'm still here, this is so exciting. Then once I come home, I'm like, but I'm home now, I've already done it. I don't know where the Pro Plus is. This is scary. Scary situation. Morning, Rebecca. It's Friday, right? I think it's Friday. I'm excited for it to be Friday. It's not my most fun day at work, but it's also, it's like the day at work that is like the maddest. But there's no, I was saying it's so hard to describe because it's a weird job. It goes the quickest Friday because it's like completing everything else. Just trying to get 2 under 6-year-olds ready for school is like herding cats. How does some mums have the time in the morning to look alive? Never around alive. I can tell you, hand on heart, I have never put on makeup just to do the school run. Never. My mum thinks it's weird that we all put on makeup to go to work. She's like, what a waste of life. What a waste of time and life that you are getting up early. I mean, my mum like gets up, has a shower, washes her hair, dries her hair every day. She does not put on makeup. like, she might put on makeup, I suppose, if she wants to like go out or something, but very, very minimal for years and years. When I was young, I remember she used to wear makeup a little more, but more like when people came round. But for the most part, I don't remember my mom wearing makeup. She wasn't, but I don't remember it being a thing. You know, like, have you seen those memes that are like the things that kids will say about you, like, oh, I love my mom because she's got no cellulite. I love my mom because she's so thin. I love my mom because, you know, all the things that the kids don't care about. But truly, looking back, my mom was always really beautiful. She had really long hair and she dressed really nicely to me, but very casual. Like, looking back at it now, I'm like, it wasn't that she was just my mom, you know? And I never thought about it. Ever. I never thought, why is my mom not wearing makeup? I don't know. Isn't that weird? Even as like makeup focused as I was from being so young, I never questioned, like, well, why doesn't mom wear makeup? She just, I maybe didn't even realise that she wasn't. Maybe I just thought she was. I don't know. Yeah, your mom only wore makeup for army parties, so same diff. I don't know. I think that people expect women of a certain age, especially women who were like young women in the 80s, to have been like really hammering the makeup, but not so much. Not so much. I also saw something on Instagram yesterday that said something like, no millennial peaked in high school because we didn't have YouTube tutorials and skincare and all this stuff. And that's why millennials seem to be aging better than Gen Z, because we all looked so terrible in our youth. And that is the closest thing to true that I've seen about that theory. Because obviously, oh no, what is the point of permanent marker if it comes off the top of the lids? What is the point? What is the point? I wrote on these so we would know which ones they are. Although the tone of them is slightly different, so I think I could figure it out. Although I feel like I'm doing my makeup in the dark today. It's so weird. When I got off the train yesterday, it was so, ooh, that one I think. It was so cold. I couldn't believe how cold it was. Obviously, it's been really warm in Hong Kong, but it was so cold. It was warm. I was wearing basically the same outfit that I came out in, and I was perfectly happy in England. And suddenly got off the plane and was like, it's winter. Also, when I walked past Marks and Spencer, they were selling Christmas trees and stuff, like little Christmas tree, you know, things. And I was, well, okay, cool. It's Christmas then. I also thought while I was in London, because I feel like I've not been in London in so long. It was probably last year, but I feel like I used to go a lot and I haven't been for so long. Morning, Beverly. That maybe I want to go at Christmas, like take a day on the train or something, because it was really fun. What was the food like? The food was amazing, really good. I had a few people message me and say they wouldn't have been able to eat while they were there because the food looked so crazy. It's not at all. There's obviously some really wild food. Like, there was, well, literally wild food. There was live food on the street. Oh, my short hair, thanks. It's grown way quicker than I expected. It's kind of in a weird in-between length now. It nearly touches my shoulders and I'm like, what do I do with this? I don't know. Time will tell. But if you like Asian food, if you like Wagamamas, you would like that food. Like, we had so many dumplings, there were so many noodles, everything. Did I get any sheet masks? Of course. Of course. Do you know, if I'd known, I might have packed even less stuff than I packed because I wasn't sure whether or not I'd get away with the sheet masks with the liquids situation. But the sheet masks, I'll show you in a separate video, were like face masks. They come in a bag, a resealable bag, and it's just like a stack of sheet masks all together. So weird. Beverly, that makes me laugh so much because looking at myself in the mirror now, I feel like Lord Farquhar. I feel like a tired, jet-lagged Lord Farquhar. For somebody to look at this image and be like, your hair looks so pretty. It sounds like you're mocking me. I know you're not, I'm joking. But it just kind of it tickled me because I don't feel pretty right now. I'll tell you for nothing. Do not feel pretty right now. yeah, no, the food was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then the food that I had, maybe my favourite food that I had was actually at the airport, which doesn't make sense at all. I was messaging with my mum and my dad and my brother, and I said, look at all this food. It was like pork and something dumplings in a soup, and it worked out for about £6. There were about 6 dumplings in this soup. And my mum was like, yeah, that's a really good deal. And my brother said, I don't think £6 is a good deal for soup. Like, you're taking this out of context. I didn't buy it from Tesco and take it home. First of all, I'm out in the world. So £6 for soup with 6 dumplings in it is actually a fantastic price pretty much anywhere. But in an airport, when I got back to London, I felt like I was in shock for how much more expensive things were. And everyone told me that Hong Kong was so expensive. And the only thing that makes sense to me is that people think that Hong Kong is like Thailand, which is crazy. No problems going through the airport. You wouldn't believe how easy it was. From getting into the airport, I need something to put my hair up with. I don't have it. Ooh, a very, very old overstretched bobble. I couldn't get over it. Obviously, I've never been to this airport before, so I don't know where I'm going, don't know what I'm doing. But again, everything's in English. So I got there, got out of my taxi where I kept falling asleep in the taxi. Kept falling asleep and waking up with my mouth open like, I hope the man didn't see me. He definitely did. I kept waking up with my mouth open. So I got into the airport, figured out where departures were because I was already checked in online and I didn't have a bag to check in. And I got to security. It was like, instead of it being a person that checks your passport and your boarding pass, it was a machine. So you just go passport, boarding pass, straight through to security, no queue at all. I started taking things out of my bag. She went, no need. Just put all the bag, the liquids in it, the laptop, every bit of technology that I had with me just in the bags, went through the scanner, got through to the other end. One of my bags kind of got slid out, to check. I was like, oh, this was obviously too easy. This was gonna happen. And he literally just opened the bag, didn't do anything, and it was a massive bag. Opened the bag and went, no, that's fine. He went, it's just random, and then gave me the bag. From arriving in the airport to being through to outside past security, it was less than 10 minutes. I've never had such an easy airport experience in my life. So simple. But weirdest thing, because I fully expected, like, wherever it said, like, don't do this, like, I didn't jaywalk, I didn't so much as use my case on an escalator. Where it said don't do this, I did not do that. I thought, I'm not, I'm a bit of a, I don't love to follow the rules. If you tell me I can't do something, I want to do it more. But in Asia, I was like, I'm not going to be tempting that. I don't know, like, how litigious these people are, and I don't want to get into trouble. So I was getting so many lifts in the MTR into the train station and stuff because of this, even though my case could totally go on an escalator. All this is to say I was just being really, really careful. And then by the end of the trip, I decided security in Hong Kong doesn't feel like English security. To get to Disney, so we had a dining reservation for Disneyland to go and have Disney dim sum, which was absolutely amazing. It was literally dim sum in the shape of characters, and it was incredible. But we forgot. We got there and we got a bit excited, and we just went into the park. And then I remembered we were supposed to go to the hotel first. So we were like halfway down Main Street. I'm like, oh no, I wonder if this is going to be an issue. I had not thought about leaving and coming back. I thought we were going to go in after. So we went to the gate. It said on a big sign, get hand stamped if you're coming back. I thought, oh my God, this is so old school. Like, so bizarre. And we went to one of the people and said, can we get our hand stamped and leave because we need to come back in. We need to go to the restaurant reservation. And she said, did you take a selfie in the park? I'm like, what? In order to get back into the park after you've left, you have to have a selfie of yourself in the park. That was the security. So we went to the park, we took a selfie. We came back out and we left, had our reservation. Oh, no. As we were leaving, the person who let us out of the park said, did you take a selfie in the park? We're like, this feels like we're being pranked. This can't be real at all. So we go back to the restaurant. We have our meal, which was absolutely amazing. Go back in thinking, let me go get this selfie. This is hilarious. I scanned the ticket. They didn't even want the selfie. They just scanned the tickets again. It was so weird. Whereas in Florida, it's like you have to attach your whatever it's called, your ticket to a fingerprint. You practically need to give them your blood. In Hong Kong, I think several people could have used that ticket that day and they wouldn't have cared at all because they didn't scan the ticket when we left. They just scanned it, and then they just let us through a barrier. It wasn't like electronic barriers. I didn't feel at all that they cared, even a little, if people reused the ticket. It was so bizarre, given my experience of Florida and even Disneyland Paris. It was so strange. So between that and the mega easy security of the airport, I think I was expecting Hong Kong to feel a bit scarier in terms of like police, and it didn't feel that way at all. It was very chill, extremely chill. Also, before I went, Molly, my friend who I went to visit, said it's really like a crime-free place, and maybe this is it. Maybe it's a trust situation. Maybe when you don't have any crime, the security can be a bit lax. Maybe that's the situation. But when I was like walking around by myself at night and stuff, it just didn't feel unsafe. But again, maybe that's because she'd already told me it was crime. It was like low crime, and I tend to not feel unsafe when I'm walking alone. I don't have a great marker for danger, so maybe it's that. But yeah, the Disney thing was just crazy, really crazy. But then when my bag went through to get checked, also the bag, when the bags get checked in Disney, they just barely looked at the bags, whereas in Florida they're like taking everything out. It was so weird, so weird. But overall, a fantastic trip. Just a whirlwind. I felt like I was there for a week, for sure. Right, let me see what I've missed while I was doing things. Oh, a couple of you have never met or never caught a live before. I love that. Every time I do live, someone said that. Our local airport don't check liquids and electronics back anymore. I love that. Love that. Someone said to me after my first vlog, if you didn't watch the vlog, go and watch the vlog. Many hours, many sleepless Hong Kong hours. Am I planning to go again? I don't know yet. I really don't know. Maybe. I think my friend could end up staying there for about 5 years, and if she does, I think Lee and Milo and I might go back, which is weird within itself because it's become now. I know it happens, but obviously Ella's older now, and it's become Lee and Milo and I from nowhere, and then we're like a little family through. I think Lee and Milo and I might go back, especially for the Disney. It was amazing. But when I was talking in the vlog about, you know, getting there and getting around and everything, and people were so lovely. I got so many comments that were like, you're so brave, you know, well done, I'm proud of you. Honestly brought a tear to my eye. I was in Disney while I was reading those comments, and I was like, was not expecting so much encouragement from you guys watching the vlog. It was really sweet. But it did make me think, from what people were saying, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. The things that I was worried about were not necessarily the things that everyone else would worry about. Like, I don't like security. That feels very under pressure. It feels like I'm going to get it wrong, I'm going to be in trouble. I don't like security. But once I got to Hong Kong, I didn't mind the train situation. So getting around and stuff, that didn't scare me because I was by myself, and I didn't feel under pressure because I was by myself. No one else was going to see me get it wrong. Whereas other people were worried about like being alone and getting it wrong. It's so weird, isn't it? Like what brings out our own individual anxieties. It's always different. Always. What scares me is not what will scare you. And when I was reading those comments, I thought, that's so interesting. I have a friend who I was saying, well, next time we go, before I'd gone, we could go together. Like, that would be really fun. And she was like, oh, no, I couldn't do a 14-hour flight. And for that alone, to just be, no, that's me out. Just the length of the flight alone is me out. I don't think that there is a length of flight that I couldn't do. Because for me, in theory, if you can sleep on the plane, It doesn't matter if it's a 6-hour flight or a 14-hour flight. It's the same. But then if you've only ever been maybe on like a 2-hour flight, then maybe a 14-hour flight sounds really scary. But it just did kind of put things in a different perspective for me when people would say, oh, I can't believe you did this, I can't believe you did that. I was like, oh, they're not the scary things to me. That's so interesting. Because the scary thing for me was like security, which then when I was leaving, I was like, oh my God, this is a joy. It's an actual joy. Thanks, Sarah. I am happy to be home, to be honest. I am quite tired, although I slept really well. I didn't sleep at all yesterday daytime, which was a miracle. Every single time I have come home from America, I've napped in the day. Like I've come home, usually I've slept in the car on the way home, but obviously I was getting myself back on the train, so I didn't do that. But I'm not sure how. Maybe it was just like because I wasn't in the car, it didn't set me up to be sleepy. But I'm not sure how. I don't know why. I obviously was like actively thinking, don't go to sleep because you will be better if you don't go to sleep. But I didn't until a really normal time. So maybe I'll be okay today. I don't know, hopefully, because I am in the office. And I could do without needing to go to my car for a nap. We do 9-hour flights to Vancouver, and that's about bearable for me. My partner did 9 and then 13 to Australia and really struggled. See, that to me is different though, because you're talking about 2 different flights. And I think get off a 9-hour flight, have to navigate an airport, get on another flight straight away. That is totally different than if you got a direct flight to Australia, because if you get the right seats, or I mean, imagine if you're in first, imagine. But if you get the right seats, there is no reason why you couldn't feasibly just sleep. Like if you could take something to help you sleep, you know, if you're on a flight that long, they kind of assign you, there's a certain point where they're like, right, lights off, everyone's going to sleep. Stay up maybe for the first 4 hours, watch some TV, eat something, and then be like, okay, now I'm going to go to bed like I would at home. Then there's no reason that you couldn't potentially sleep for 10 hours off that flight. But if you have to split in the middle, that's harder for me. Because a 9-hour flight, at what point do you sleep? Depending on what time of day it is, I think that would be the harder thing. The 9 hours, I could potentially stay up for that whole time. But the 9 knowing you were going to go on for a 14, then the 14 I would want to, I don't know. And I think the hard part of that is the split, not the amount of time. Because once you're on, although the plane home was horrific, it was so turbulent. On the way there, it was not fun because I was stuck between 2 people. I didn't do my seat reservation. I didn't pay for a seat reservation because it was just me, so I was like, what's the point? On the way home, I did pay for a seat reservation and I had an aisle seat, thank God. But I thought that was going to be the worst of the 2 flights. We also had 2 competing babies crying with each other, which was not fun time. But on the way home, the turbulence was so awful, I would have swapped for the flight out in a heartbeat. It was like, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Not fun, not fun, not fun. And so I kept waking up from sleep to what felt like the end of my life, which was not my favourite. Also do my face at the kitchen sink. Yeah, that's a great place to do your makeup. It's a great place. Someone the other day said that every time they use their makeup sponge, they wash it every single time. If I did my makeup in the bathroom, I think I would do that. And you know, I was thinking about this recently. I may redo the family bathroom. I may put in there a like cabinet and put my makeup and skincare and stuff in there. That I might do that because I wouldn't mind doing my makeup in the bathroom. Obviously, I've got like my drawer of stuff in here, but since I'm moving away, I realised ever since I said I'm not making makeup content anymore, I haven't really done anything but makeup content, which is funny. I will say the purpose of that in terms of an announcement was I'm no longer focused on that. Like, if I want to talk about something else, I'm going to talk about something else. I'm not specifically going out and buying beauty products for a video, which I used to do. But my enjoyment of the thing didn't go away. And I also think that my enjoyment of the thing kind of maybe got a little more again once I took the pressure off it being a job. But things like getting ready in the bathroom, I wouldn't have done before because I needed it to be somewhere where I could film. Whereas now, really the only time I talk about makeup is either going to be, I bought some new stuff, which is like, again, not because I had to, but because I wanted to, empties, or if I'm doing a get ready with me, and a get ready with me could be in the bathroom. I'm not like sitting down and being like, let's compare all these foundations. I'm not for that now. I have been trying to decide what I'm going to do in terms of other topics though, like because Emma has not been quite as available for this season of the podcast. I think this week I may find someone else to talk about the topic that I have in mind. And I thought maybe this is it. Maybe the podcast is the thing where I will have different people to talk to about the topic, or it'll just be me talking about the topic that I have in mind. They can be really not controversial, but like I talked about the rage bait last week, and I had someone basically tell me off for being rage baity about stupid things and not about like social issues, which I completely understand. But that in itself was her engaging, like ragefully on the internet. It was kind of the point of what I was trying to make. But it does tend to be easier with stuff like that to have another person to bounce off and have a conversation, because sometimes you'll say something and it's not out of context, but they don't really understand. Whereas if someone says, well, what do you mean? Like if you're having a conversation, someone will go, well, like elaborate or whatever, and you'll get your point across a little clearer. So it is better in conversation, but I don't know. I have like a list of things I'd like to talk about. This week, I think it's going to be the dark side of the law of attraction, like the dark side of manifestation, because I'm really into the law of attraction and manifestation, and I believe in it. However, as with any superstition, I will only take the good. I am not down for you made yourself ill, you know, those kind of things. I'm not down for like pray the illness away, that kind of, like, I really feel like that's not okay. And I think it's the kind of thing that, again, would be better in a conversation, especially with someone who maybe doesn't understand it, because it's a little bit like religion. But there are so many topics like that. I tell you what I would love to be able to do. I'd love to figure out a way to do it with you guys, like calling all friends, like how that used to be. How I would put something out to you guys and then people would send me voice notes and I would put all that together. I would like to do that maybe in video form. So I would say, can you guys send me a story? And you could send it as a voice note, but I could put like something over it, or send it as a video. And I would put, or if we could have like an actual Zoom chat and I'll put that in it, I would love that. I would love that. And I'm the more time goes on, I'm like, well, why couldn't we do that? That could totally be that. So maybe as part of this channel can be anything. I love the little like podcast with Emma because I love our like little catch-ups and like just maintaining something with Emma. It's a really fun thing. But maybe additionally I could do like a revamp of Calling All Friends. I wonder if I could get back in touch with those people. I don't know if you remember, but there was a show called What About Brian, and the theme song was Calling All Friends, and this is where I got it from. And this, I feel like this alone, when I was diagnosed with ADHD, I should have brought this up and she'd have been like, oh, we don't need to go into anything else, this is enough. I wanted to use the soundtrack from that TV show from the early 2000s for my podcast that I would not make any money on at all, because I didn't know how to make money on a podcast, and I wanted that theme song. That's what I just wanted, the theme song. And so I got in touch with someone who got in touch with someone who got in touch with someone. Eventually I was emailing with one of the writers of the song. And I don't remember what he told me. He gave me a figure and I was like, that kind of brought me back down to earth of, you aren't going to make any money doing this. This is ridiculous. You've got to stop. And so I stopped then. But that was crazy. I got to the guy who wrote the song. That was stupid. That was really stupid. What do I do for work? That's a great question. I plan trains, which is just not necessarily what you would think I would do for work, but that is what I do for work. Freight trains. Trains that take things from A to B. That is what I do. It's not the most fun in the world, but it's not a job that I ever would have been like, oh yes, I want to do that. Like if someone at college had been like, here are some options, you can plan train, that'd have been like, no. But it's actually quite interesting. It's very varied. And I like the company I work for. I like the pension scheme a lot. I want to work there for the rest of my life because this is my fun stuff. I've got my own like creative outlet. I've got this, I've got candles, I've got all that stuff. And then this is my like real serious job with like, you know, this is pay my bills. And then all the other stuff is like, but I am kind of thinking at the moment of maybe finding something else within the company. So we'll see. But I plan trains. Random. That'd be so interesting to get different people in the conversation. I do like, yes, the conversational aspect, exactly. And you're so into manifestation too, and exactly the same. I just don't see why, you know, like don't cross on the stairs, stuff like that. I don't buy into that. I don't buy into, oh, I shouldn't have done this, this is bad luck. I only feel like I want to take from it, how can I make things better? How can I be positive in the world, you know, rather than negative? I don't want to do that. But I might see if Emma's better because she's not been very well this week. I might wait until she's better to do that topic because part of what I want to talk about is infertility, and if she's up for it, which I think she will be, she would be a really good person to talk to about that because I see so many people talking about, well, if you're trying to have a baby, you should buy these crystals, or if you're trying to have a baby, you should buy a baby grow, and these are the things that you do. That is horrible, absolutely heart-wrenching to hear. I listen to people who I otherwise really enjoy their content, and then they go on like that, and I'm like, this is emotional torture, what you're doing to these people. Much as I believe in the power of positive thinking, some things are beyond that, and I just feel maybe we should be using that power of positive thinking to like help them accept the things they cannot change, rather than help them feel like not only has their body failed them, which is often what people feel, but they're also not manifesting correctly because they still aren't doing the thing, they still aren't having. It just makes me feel really sad for the people who are going into this being like, this is going to work for me, because it would have been me. It would have been me. I tried to have Milo. We tried for a year to have Milo, and then we found out there was a problem and it was fixed. But if I hadn't already had Ella, I mean, I would have done anything. I would be the first one to join a cult. I would have done anything. And I see that stuff and I just think, no, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And so, yeah, in that instance, it would be interesting to have Emma. But maybe I'll ask, maybe I'll put something on Instagram if any of you are interested. Therapy's taught me to focus on the positive always, exactly. And one of the things I still have pinned up from therapy that I did a couple of years ago was, she said 2 things. She said, don't be other people's dustbin, which is not specific to anyone, but is very much like, that is specific to something that I do that is taking on other people's problems. So that's not that other people are making me a dustbin so much as I am taking on things that I don't need to take on. And do you want it to say at the end of your life, here lies Michaela, didn't upset her mum, but that could be didn't upset X, Y, Z. Because it's always like, well, I didn't do this because I'm worried that this person, I don't want this person to feel I wouldn't do this because then this person, you can't live your life like that. And so they're things that I want to be reminded of every single day. Like, a lot of my issues are surrounded around other people. Like, well, but then what if that person? No, What if that person? That's fine. Do you know what, Kate? Kate, who uses Anthony's account, I'm telling you now, you don't need to tell me it's your husband's account anymore, because I know. Anthony Martin is Kate. I know. Although, if you want to put yourself a little different picture, that'll help as well. But I will know, I promise. Nice surprise, I've gone back to bed with a coffee. Love it. Love it. I would love to hear a conversation about infertility. I've had a lot of issues over the years. Finally had my daughter. I had issues since. I know how heartbreaking it is. Yeah, do you know what? It's so weird because I've talked about it, about like not being able to have Milo, and I was absolutely convinced that the reason that I was married before, the reason that I had to meet my previous husband, was so I could have Ella, because I wasn't going to be able to have children with Lee, yada yada. I was just convinced that that was the situation. And then it was a resolvable problem, and we had Milo pretty quickly after that. But it is, even though I had had a child, and the reason that I had Ella at 19, I mean, we're going to fully get into this, but the reason I had Ella at 19 was because I thought the only thing I want to do in the world is have a child, and what if this is my only chance to have a child? What if, like, if I say no now, and maybe this is even from being so young, me kind of believing in the law of attraction, but if I say no now, how do I know there'll be another opportunity? And I didn't. And then when I couldn't have Milo easily, I was just absolutely convinced that that was my one shot, and I took it, and I was so happy. And all I could think for that year that I was trying to have Milo was, what if I hadn't had Ella? That whole time I would have been like, I had an opportunity to have a child and I didn't take it. But, you know, I have no ethical issues with abortion whatsoever. But that was my internal monologue, was like, what if this is your only shot? This isn't what I thought we were going to talk about this morning. But, as previously said, you guys have definitely helped me wake up. Which was the point. I have no idea what I'm going to wear. I need to go downstairs and find my Pro Plus from somewhere. I'm back in bed with a tea. Was in A&E last night. Luckily, just a sprained ankle. Do you know what? A&E, not my favourite. I don't know what it would take me to get into A&E. Last time I was in A&E, I was with Ella, who said she couldn't breathe. Very dramatic. I think it was like a panic attack, to be honest. I mean, not a laughing matter, but we were laughing by the time we left, because we'd been in there for so long. But yeah, kids are always the reason that you're in A&E once you've got kids. Well, I think once you've got kids, you stop being so quick to take yourself to A&E, or so quick to take yourself to the doctor, because you're like, oh, I was just there. I can't be bothered. Oh, I feel like I look so much more awake than I actually am. They're 5 hours, lots of babies being rushed in. No. Do you know, when we were there was a man that worked at Tesco near us, and he had like something in his hand, and we were listening to the story, because that's half of what is fun. My husband just had an elbow surgery and carpal tunnel hand. Oof, yikes. Yeah, half of the fun of A&E. You may as well just go, if you're like writing a book or something, come and sit in A&E for a while. That's some great people watching for a story. But this guy was with, I think, his daughter and maybe her partner. The best thing about them was they kept going to the car and bringing back different snacks. They must have had 7 different drinks the whole time we were there, and I don't know where they were getting them from. I think they were getting them from the car, and they were all different. It was like, you know, like on Sex and the City when the guy brings the fruit out of the briefcase. It was exactly like that. Anyway, we discovered from like broken bits of conversation that we heard that he'd been somewhere in the Tesco near us, and he was arguing with someone who had a knife, and he was like, no, and then the guy stabbed him in the hand. We don't know if it was someone that worked there or someone that was like, he was kind of like a click and collect kind of guy. I recognised him. But we don't know whether or not it was like someone who worked there or a customer or what, but scary. By the end, we were like, let's go and see him tomorrow, like at Tesco. I feel like we know him now. Anyway, I'm going to go. I need to go and find something to wear. Thank you so much for keeping me company and geeing me up so that I could actually get out and do things today. But yeah, I'll let you know if anyone's interested in that like potential maybe collaborative podcast idea. Otherwise, hopefully Emma can do the manifesting one with me this weekend because I really want to do that one. Right. I'll see you later. Bye.